This is the Synthetic Signal Report for Monday, April 13th, 2026 in the morning. Today's analysis examines the tactical progression of AMD's ROCm as it challenges the market dominance of Nvidia's CUDA and the release of Android's latest privacy feature that blocks location sharing in photos. We look at the deployment of Gemma 4 as a local model in Codex CLI and the technical findings of the GPUBreach study on GPU-based privilege escalation. This report also covers a major milestone in pancreatic cancer treatment from Revolution Medicines, the release of the Linux 7.0 kernel with self-healing file systems, and the SubQuad pipeline for adaptive immune research. Finally, we analyze the impact of silent data corruption on large language model training and the latest breach involving Hallmark. The competitive landscape between AMD and Nvidia is shifting as AMD's ROCm, or ROCm, platform adopts a strategy of incremental, library-by-library parity. Technical analysis indicates that the ROCm software stack has moved beyond simply mimicking Nvidia's CUDA, or CUDA. Instead, AMD is focusing on the one-step-after-another approach, porting essential libraries, such as HIP-BLAS and HIP-FFT, to ensure that developers can move workloads without extensive code rewrites. The primary hurdle remains the moat created by Nvidia's deeply integrated software ecosystem. However, recent benchmarks show that on high-performance compute clusters, the performance gap is narrowing for specific matrix multiplication tasks. This is not a sudden displacement, but a grounded, steady erosion of the software barriers that have historically kept researchers locked into Nvidia hardware. The ROCm platform's recent updates have improved stability for distributed training, making it a viable alternative for enterprise-level artificial intelligence deployments that seek to diversify their hardware supply chains. Android has introduced a structural change to how images are handled during sharing. The latest update now prevents the automatic sharing of location metadata embedded in photos unless explicitly authorized by the user. This feature intercepts the exchange at the system level, stripping the latitude and longitude data before it reaches the target application. This is a significant move in mobile security, as it addresses a long-standing privacy leak where users inadvertently share their home addresses or sensitive locations through social media and messaging platforms. Simultaneously, the viability of local artificial intelligence has taken a step forward with the successful execution of Gemma 4 in the Codex CLI environment. By running Google's latest model locally, developers are achieving low-latency code suggestions without exfiltrating private source code to external servers. The integration shows that Gemma 4 maintains high reasoning capabilities even when quantized for consumer-grade hardware. This development signals a move away from centralized API dependency for sensitive engineering tasks, prioritizing data sovereignty and offline functionality. Researchers at the University of Toronto have published a paper titled GPUBreach, detailing a new class of privilege escalation attacks via GPU rowhammer. Unlike previous rowhammer exploits that focused on simple data corruption, GPUBreach demonstrates that an unprivileged CUDA kernel can corrupt GPU page tables. By doing so, the kernel gains arbitrary read and write access to the entire GPU memory space. This capability allows an attacker to chain vulnerabilities and potentially escape virtualized environments or compromise the host system's memory. In a related hardware study, researchers at the Technical University of Berlin have identified silent data corruption as a primary reliability challenge for large-scale model training. As models like GPT-4 and 5 scale, hardware-induced bit flips that do not trigger system crashes can subtly degrade the weights of the model during the training process. This corruption is difficult to detect because it does not stop the training run but results in a model with reduced accuracy or unpredictable behavior. The study suggests that as we move toward even larger clusters, the industry requires new error correction protocols at the software level to validate the integrity of every gradient update. Revolution Medicines has reported a significant breakthrough in the treatment of metastatic pancreatic cancer. Patients receiving a targeted pill designed by the company lived nearly twice as long as those on traditional chemotherapy. This pill targets specific mutations in the KRAS gene, which is a primary driver of pancreatic tumors. This is a grounded advancement in oncology, moving away from broad-spectrum toxins toward precision molecular inhibition. This is a signal from the future. A new under-the-radar development called the SubQuad pipeline is revolutionizing how we analyze adaptive immune repertoires. Currently, comparing large datasets of immune cells is hindered by the near-quadratic cost of evaluating how different antibodies bind to targets. SubQuad addresses this by using distribution-balanced objectives that allow the system to identify rare but clinically important immune signatures without the massive computational overhead. This is a major structural improvement for vaccine development and autoimmune research, as it allows for population-scale analysis that was previously mathematically impossible. Linus Torvalds has officially released the Linux 7.0 kernel. While the version jump from 6.19 to 7.0 follows Torvalds' preference for avoiding excessively large minor version numbers, the release includes a critical technical addition, self-healing XFS. This update allows the file system to detect and repair certain types of metadata corruption while the system is still online, reducing the need for offline file system checks. The kernel also introduces expanded support for RISC-V, RISC-V, and MIPS architectures, alongside optimizations for Intel's next-generation desktop processors. Community sentiment is heavily focused on a major breach at Hallmark, where 1.7 million users have had their data exposed following a compromise of a Salesforce instance. The leaked data reportedly includes customer records and was released following an extortion attempt. Security analysts are also tracking a new, highly evasive in-memory loader called HonGhost. This malware uses layered obfuscation and steganography, hiding encrypted payloads inside PNG image files to bypass traditional detection. HonGhost is currently being used to deliver multiple malware families, including Agent Tesla and Medusa, targeting corporate payment and logistics workflows. There is significant chatter regarding a new labeling system called AITLP. Inspired by the traffic light protocol, it uses 5 levels to label how much human judgment went into a piece of code, ranging from AI white for human written to AI red for fully generated vibes-based code. Finally, internal reports from Meta suggest the development of SubQuad, an AI version of Mark Zuckerberg trained on his voice and mannerisms to interact with employees in meetings. This coincides with XAIV release of Grok 4.20, which expands batch API support for image and video generation. This concludes the synthetic signal report for Monday,